What's up? Welcome back to the Small Biz Rescue podcast. Today we talk about strategic pricing and buying. I'm really excited. I'm passionate about this topic. I kind of meander a little bit in the middle, a little bit towards the beginning. I apologize in advance. I have ADHD, but I still provide multiple examples of buying and multiple examples of selling with strategic pricing. I step us through some hypothetical examples and then into some real-world business examples. Remember, you as a business owner control all the cards. At the end, I will give you, I believe, 2 or 3 questions to ask yourself so you can use those as takeaways, as homework, and hopefully that works out. Guys, I hope you enjoy the episode.
Welcome to the Small Biz Rescue podcast, where we deep dive into the heart of entrepreneurship. From practical, immediate steps to success stories from normal people like you and me that inspire. We're here to untangle the fears, simplify the process, and show you that mastering your business is within everyone's reach. You are not alone. Let's rescue your business dreams together, one episode at a time. Let's get to it.
Today we're going to be talking about commodities and pricing strategy, and should you be competing as a commodity. I just got back from a conference where I was speaking and I talked about strategic pricing and how you can weaponize the pricing strategies of your company. Remember, you control the cards. And almost everybody says, well, I build railings and Jim builds railings and I'm competing as companies out there. And so Jim's this price, so I'll do it for $200 cheaper. And now you're competing as a commodity and it's a race to the bottom. There's another thing that is very common is strategy consulting, right? I do business consulting. And remember, price is what you pay, value is what you get. And so many people say, well, Jim charges $185 an hour. I don't do that. I say, this is what I charge. And for this, the value that's going to be delivered is going to be $200,000 or $300,000 over year one, probably millions and millions of dollars indefinitely forever. So I'm going to charge X dollars. It's going to depend on the price. You can check the prices on my website if you want. And there's strategic pricing. In fact, if you're listening to this podcast, my pricing on my website is strategically priced, right? I have a $100,000 ticket price for a week of me on site. To some of you guys, you might say, wow, that's insane. $100,000 for a week of work? That's crazy. To other companies who are also listening to this podcast, because I know some of my viewers are like, $100,000, I would pay you $1 million to come because you're going to save us $15 or $20 million this year of just saving us where we were just bleeding that money, right? It depends on the company size, what industry you're in, many different things. I don't want you guys to get out above that. Then I want you to know, hey, as we're coming down the pipe, it's about strategic pricing. And here's a great example. When I first got into Small Biz Rescue or thinking about creating it, I was all hook, line, and sinker bought into 2-second lien. And it is one of my biggest competitive advantages is knowing everything about that. Not everything about it, but knowing it, using it, really believing in it, running all of my companies that way. 1 or 2 companies I did never made any money. We made $0. We were losing money. Well, here I am applying the fundamentals, going after the fundamentals, trying to do things the right way. And what happened? I did not make money. Well, I was only missing part of the picture. 2-second lien is a tool that builds your culture of continuous improvement and builds a culture of ownership-minded workforce that has critical thinking skills and it self-replicates. But that doesn't mean that you're going to have better sales. And a lot of people go and they turn to 2-second lien as if it's going to save their company, but really they have a sales issue. Not enough dollars are coming in, and you'll never be able to operate yourself to better sales. You just have to think about it. So the first one we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about strategic pricing. Stop competing as a commodity, right? We're so used to it. You go to Walmart, what's the cheapest thing? You go to Amazon, what's the cheapest thing? Well, if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably not in that industry. The boat building industry that we came in, there are 4 companies in the world that make this product that we make. We are one of the 4 companies. We are absolutely competing at a commodity. We have 350 Chinese workers who are in a factory with 20 buildings, and we're trying to figure out how to take $12 million of raw materials and coordinate it in an X amount of time to get Y amount of shipping containers out. And at the end of it, how much money do we make? Oh, we made, $300,000. Oh, there's a defect. Actually, we made negative $500,000 for the year. That's competing as a commodity. Instead, or in addition to competing as a commodity, if you have to, depending on your industry. Most of us don't have that problem. If you're a landscaper, if you're a bug guy, if you're in real estate, right? Well, Hugh, rent prices are X and Y, and it's set by the market and it's set in your neighborhood. How are you going to compete on commodity pricing? I'm gonna get into that right now. Hey, I'm a flipper. All the houses around you are set a very certain way. How are you gonna compete on pricing? Now, that's also, can use it to buy things. You can, if you have the skill set, buy X from you, but how about I buy Y from you, but let's do it this way. So you can use, it's a double-edged sword. This skill set can be used one way or the other, but predominantly, when you're selling something, compete at a higher dollar point. Okay, we're gonna use an example. This example comes directly from Hermosi, and it's a suit example. He gives the story where he was going to buy a suit one time with friends, a custom tailor, and they stuck him in a suit, and the suit was $15,000 or something crazy like that. And he was just looking at it and he was like, oh, crazy, I'm never buying this. And then they're like, oh, do you have any other ones? And then they put him in a $2,000 suit. And he was like, okay, $2,000. I look almost as good. All right, I think I'm gonna buy this $2,000 suit. And then they could have put him in another one. Hey, this suit is $1,700. It's just whatever, Giorgio Armani. It's off the shelf. Okay, so now they've created this artificial thing. That company held all the cards. Now, why have the super high end? The super high end one, gonna buy it. But if they do, great. You just got 15 grand, good for you. Most people are gonna say, whoa, they price anchored way up here. I'm getting almost the same thing at $2,000. They created that emotional thing that doesn't really exist, and boom, now you see it right there. And that's where you're anchored at. Your anchor is high, the value is down here, perceived value $2,000, almost as good. I'm just gonna save all that extra money. But he didn't have to spend that at all, right? I know a lot of the listeners will be like, I'm gonna buy a $200 suit from Men's Warehouse. Me too. But now they followed up with the off-the-shelf, the not custom one. Hey, it's $1,700, $100. I get a custom-made suit. Cool. Most people, or not most people, but a lot of people in that situation are going to emotionally use that. Another example is going to be popcorn at a movie theater. If you've ever noticed, most movie theaters are priced where the popcorn is, the large is like an extra 50 cents to get the large. Hardly anybody buys the medium. Well, and people are either buying the small or that. So the movie theaters have that price point control. They make it kind of expensive for a small, significantly more expensive for a medium, and much more you get the large. They say, hey, would you like to upgrade it to a large for an extra 50 cents or extra 75 cents? And they probably, hopefully they were running a decent business and they figured out that the popcorn cost is negligible. It's all the labor cost. So if it's gonna be the same labor, then let's sell all the bigger ones to get more money. They strategically price that. Now, same thing. If you move that medium price for the popcorn size, right? Let's say it was $5 for the small, $9 for a medium, the large is $10, everyone's gonna probably buy the large. You could also do the other way. You can make the large a lot more expensive and then play games with the medium. So strategic pricing is a big thing. I'm gonna go into the next example because this literally happened, and sorry to listeners out there, there is a company is in Cusco that does luxury experiences. And we were there and they went through all the work for us, and I had a great time, and we enjoyed ourselves. And this was like the third trip I've done, and I just sat down with the business owner who was running it, and I was like, hey, you and your wife, you guys are working your butt off. How much money did you make from this? Well, we're making 30% on whatever it costs. So if it costs we charge you $130, we make the $30 in the middle. Okay, so then we said price is what you pay, value is what you get. For us, it was $150 per person was on average. I think he made like, I don't know what he made, but on average, you guys do the math. But I said, okay, $700 a person. I'll pay you $7,000 per person. You tell me, what do you have to provide me for you to feel comfortable charging that? So he started writing down, oh, well, then you'll be in a 5-star resort, you'll be included. You're going to take the Hiram Bingham, which is a super fancy luxury chain, to Machu Picchu. You're going to stay at the 5-star lodge up there. You're going to go to Machu Picchu in the off hours. Why would you want to compete against me? It's a $7,000 mark. So if you just sold $7,500, customers per person, then have a middle option. Make it $5,000 or $4,000. What can you get that's 80% as good? How much money will you make? Oh, I'm going to make $1,200 per person. Instead of $1,500, he's making $1,200. Things cost lower, but things seem a lot better, right? You have a massage every night. You've got, laundry service is done in your room, and, it's picked up and folded on the way back. You get picked up at the, from the airport with champagne, all these things. The difference between the super duper luxury one and the middle tier was a bigger price point. But people said for the price difference, the middle tier one, the $4,000 or $5,000 one, it's 80% as good as the super expensive one. Most people are going to select that. The last thing he did was he offered a budget package. Hey, this is the budget package. You don't get lodging, you got to find your own. We'll pick you up from the airport. You take the normal train to Cusco, and then you still get off hours because it's a luxury, and then you just stay at a regular hotel just for the one night, at the base of Machu Picchu. And that is going to be $3,000. So it's $3,000 for the budget one, which doesn't get you hardly anything. $4,000 for the super nice one, lodging and all the stuff, 4-star hotel, whatever. And then you have the super duper nice one. And so your price anchoring, he's got an anchor, but everyone's gonna be driven towards that middle option because it's 80% as good, but it's almost the same cost as the cheap one, right? And the cards he was controlling, he never thought about, and he was competing against every other travel agency, and that's why he was at the $700 price point. Now you might ask, well, Hugh, if you're at the $700 price point and you're trying to charge $7,000, who's gonna buy that? There are people out there that will buy it, and by the way, you'll need to sell one of those packages to make the same amount as he didn't make very much in his current pricing. So strategic pricing, stop competing as a commodity. Set yourself different from everybody else. If you have ever read Alex Hormozy's book, $100 Million Offer, that's where a lot of this information is coming from. Say your grand slam offer, you control things. Okay, Hugh, you said you were gonna tell us a real estate example, or actually we're gonna do the boat building because a lot of manufacturers listen to this. Yes, we have the pricing for the bulk of our boats, and that's what's keeping the lights on. We should also do a high-end variant, a high-end product that's all handmade, custom built, that we add and we sell to yacht builders. Now, all of a sudden, the yacht builders are gonna say, we want the best because it's going on a product that we're selling for $4 million, $200-300 per unit cost into that $3 million. They don't care. They want the best for their customers because they're targeting a luxury client versus the cheapest. What finish can we have to make it even cheaper? What can we cut out to make it even cheaper? Now you're competing at the bottom tier, so you're doing the most work. And then you're at a $400 per unit. Well, what was the labor? Well, the labor of the $20 per unit was probably $17 or $15. Well, what's the labor in the $400 unit and labor and materials? Well, the cost for that is probably $100. So you're making $300 here, and you're making, $5 here. You're doing the most work for the least return versus more. So again, every company is different. Well, what if you're a lawnmower guy? Okay, you're a lawnmower guy. Everybody charges, $50 a lawn or every other time. Okay, you start doing some creative strategies. Hey, listen, this package, our top tier package, is the never think about your house, you get all your Saturdays back package. We mow, we take out the leaves, we clean out your gutters, we coordinate with a pest control guy and you get pest control. In the wintertime, we come and we snow blow. And that's gonna cost you $700 a month. Okay, to a doctor in a doctor neighborhood, that might be negligible because they value their time. To me as a homeowner, I'm not gonna do that, but maybe I'm not that person's customer. As opposed to saying, how do I go and get 100 more customers? Or you know what, I'm gonna compete at $40 a yard and I'm gonna have to get a bigger area and more trucks and more crew. What if we just performed outstanding service? Hey, we're not just a landscaper, we do everything. We do landscaping, we make sure everything's mulched all the time, we brush your eaves, so there's no spider webs. You never have to do, if you have dog poop, we pick up your dog poop. You get your Saturdays back forever. It costs X dollars. Now all of a sudden, at that price point, how many do you need to do? One. What if you only had 10 customers? That's $7,000 a month. Is it harder or easier to serve 10 customers really, really well with you and your team? Or is it going out and getting far, far more customers and having a wider surface area and more trucks and more wear and tear and more maintenance on vehicles? What is it? Okay, what if you had that super high-end price point? You have the $700 get you by your back Saturdays, but then you have a second tier option, which is $300. Hey, for $300, we'll come brush your eaves, make sure things are mulched, and we'll come mow, right? We don't pick up your dog poop. We won't come shovel your yard in the winter. Now people are comparing your $700 to your $300, and it's almost the same. No one up here is gonna buy it. maybe you get a lot more customers here at the $300 price point. And then you have your other thing. Well, we'll just mow for you, but that's going to be $150 a month, right? Because we got to come 2 times, whatever it is. All right, now all of a sudden people are like, well, okay, well, for a little bit more, I get so much more. Price is what you pay, value is what you get. Most of us are bad at communicating the value we have. We become a race to the bottom. We do just like my friend in Cusco did, which is whatever it costs, we tack on a certain percentage and we sell it because we're competing at the bottom. Stop competing at the bottom, try to compete at the top. All right, so now we're done with those examples. We're gonna go into another example. These are all case studies, these are all real stories. Last example we have, Hugh, you are in real estate. You either are buying and selling homes, and that's determined by the price of the market, or you're renting homes. I predominantly rent homes, and rent is set by the market. How are you competing at that? Okay, here's a great answer. I will go in and I will buy like a 2-bedroom, 1-bath right now in 2024 in our town. On average, rents for $850. I usually buy a really, really ghetto, rundown one where I only care is the structure sound or the bones good. I'll do a complete renovation and make it very, very nice. I'll everything insulate the walls. It'll have HVAC now instead of window units, right? Updated plumbing, really nice fixtures, really nice countertop. And then, and on average, it's $850, right? When I bought it, that type of place that I bought, the landlord was renting it for $300, $400, seriously. And then I'll come back and I'll say, boom, I've got this house. I can rent it at the top of the market for $900 if I wanted to, because I have better finishings, better furnishings. Right? I bought it down here, but I'm pricing it higher. Now maybe I have a special. Maybe I price something super high and then I'll come down and I'll say, you know what, everyone else is priced up here, but I offer all these other amenities and I'll be strategically priced a little bit lower. Maybe they're $850, I'm $800. But Hugh, aren't you competing on a commodity? Yes, but when I went to go buy, I made sure I bought a headache. I fixed the headache. Now I can be way more competitive if I want up here. Maybe, and I do, I have, let's say right now there's 15 open homes. I can go into neighborhoods and I can pick 2 or 3 of the top end neighborhoods. Everybody else is $1,100. And I go put the best furnishings in and the best everything, and I raise the price of that specific unit to $1,500 when it's $1,100. I'll attract a certain type of person that will look for it. And then I can drop it down to $1,400 or $1,300 to get people in the door. Where the market price was $1,100, I set it high, attracted a certain person, and then gave them a deal or a discount, right? When people say, well, this one's $800, that one's $800, that one's $800. This one's $1,500. Hey, I'm just curious, what do I get for $1,500? And then, hey, we might be running a special to move in. Now you drop the price. Remember, we control all the cards. So we are competing in a commodities-based market with strategic pricing, and we're trying to get towards that top end, right? Same thing, if I really needed to in an emergency situation because I bought the property for so little money, I can drop the price to $700 and undercut everybody else if I had to. I don't want to, because it undermines them, my competition. It undermines me because I want to make as much as I possibly can. And then I also want the best tenants, because if I have the best tenants, usually they don't destroy the place. And so the higher price, I strategically am pricing people who I don't want to be my customers, not to be tenants. And so again, strategic pricing, you can use it many, many ways. All right, so now that's multiple examples of buying, selling, the way you're selling things, rent. We're gonna use an example where you can buy something. All right, so strategic pricing. This is going to be a real estate tactic that I learned, but you can probably do it with your equipment supplier, with your vendor. All right, if you want to buy, $300,000 of raw materials, $1 million in raw materials, what do we do? Okay, here's what I did. We walked up to this guy's house. He's 75. He's trying to mow. He's having a difficult time. He has no systems and processes in place. His house is really run down, and he's making about $350 a month for the 2-bedroom, 1-bath. He's tired, he wants done with it. So we offered to buy the place from him. We said, listen, the condition of your house is super, super bad. Based on these market factors, it's only worth 85 grand after we do all the stuff to it, but we need 50 grand, which means we can pay you $10,000 to $15,000 for your house. That is the math. Here are the numbers, here are the comparables in the area. Unfortunately, I wouldn't take it if I were you. But what we can do is I can offer you $50,000 for your house if you let us pay you $500 for the next 10 years or whatever it is, right? or $250 for the next 10 years. We'll take it off your hands. If we don't pay you back, then you get your house back. This helps us because we don't have to come out of pocket to buy the place from you. We just get to spend our money directly on a renovation. You become the bank. We're not paying interest to the bank. You get far more for your house than you can get. You stop doing the work. The headache becomes ours. And then when we rent it out for $800, we're making the difference. We're making that $300 in the middle, and you don't have to worry about it. You stop making $400, but you're spending all this money and you're constantly working. All of that headache goes away. What do you think? How about we buy your house? If we have to pay you cash today, we can, but we can pay you 10 to 15 grand. But we'll pay you 40 grand or 50 grand. Just let us pay you $500 a month or $200 a month over the next X amount of years. And if we refinance, you'll just get it all in a lump sum. We made sure we do our numbers, we know our costs, we know our metrics, so we can do that. Strategic pricing. The only people who don't win in the scenario that we outlined, if we bought it for more money, right? We are offering to pay 3 times or 4 times what we could offer to pay based on the real numbers and the math, right? Everybody else, they don't have that skill set, they're not thinking about it. We're gonna offer you 10 grand. We're gonna offer you 10 grand. Well, I'm not gonna let it go for less than 20. Listen, sir, we'll pay you 50,000. We'll pay you 40,000. Let us pay you over this amount of time, right? And now you're doing that. Okay, you say the same thing. Let's say you're talking to a material supplier. Hey, we buy 100,000 tons of plastic beads from you a year. How about we buy 300,000 tons from you, or whatever it is? We can do that, but give it to us for X price. Or even better, hey, let us pay you over X amount of time. We'll buy it all up front at this price now. You guys keep it in your facility, but it's guaranteed payments. We only want 100 tons to come in at a time, and we want to come in over this time period. You can use strategic pricing to your advantage. You can, because we're all looking for stability as business owners, right? Some are, some have ebbs and flows, but others, we just want stability. So anyways, hopefully this is helpful. I know I rambled quite a bit, but I just wanted to talk about strategic pricing. There's a ton to go over. I know you guys are listening to this podcast, and hopefully I didn't, hopefully my examples were clear enough. I know I kind of ramble and wander a bit, but remember, guys, you control all the cards. Okay, so I'm going to leave you with these things to do. Again, I got this from Alex Ramosi and $100 million offers. Whatever your price is, think about your price, your company. What would you 10x it, right? So if you charge $1,000, now all of a sudden you're charging $10,000 for that same service. What do you have to feel comfortable providing to charge $10,000 instead of $1,000? Okay, now same question. Divide it by 10. My service is $1,000. You have to sell it, and you can only sell that same thing at $100. What do you have to change about your business to make that possible? Because it's your only option. You answer those 2 questions, that'll get the ball rolling for you to figure that out. Again, I didn't come up with that, but I found it to be extremely effective. Every time I challenge a business owner, hey, whatever their price is, right? That's how I got the previous price. $750 was my overall cost. I'm going to pay you $7,500. What do you have to pay me? What do you have to provide me for you to feel comfortable charging that? And how much work will it be, and what will you make from it? Right? So start thinking about things like that term. Stop competing as a commodity. It is a disservice to undercharge. You're a superhero. You are providing a service. If you're wanting to solve a problem for the world, you're solving a problem for other companies. You're solving a problem to make someone else's life feel better. And it is a disservice if you go out of business. It is a disservice to your employees if you go out of business because you didn't want to raise your prices, because you didn't want to think outside the box, because you were afraid, and so all you did was compete as a commodity. So my message to you, stop right now, stop competing as a commodity. Think about what you are doing, what you're worth, and then try to go after it, right? Again, this is not cookie cutter advice. All of our businesses are different. Again, I'm talking to me, and one of the businesses that I'm involved with is competing at a commodity at a very large scale. It kills us. What if we just had what if we did 1/4 of the work, but we made 4 or 5 times or 6 times the money with the same skill set, right? What if we just let the 4 companies compete at a commodity become 3, and they can eat themselves alive, and we'll just compete at a different level with the different tools. We hold all the cards. We often feel powerless. Oh, it's the market. Oh, it's our customer. Oh, it's this. Maybe you have the wrong customers. Maybe you're in the wrong market. Maybe you make the wrong thing. All right. So I think it's Kimberling with the paper mills in the book Good to Great, talking about they had paper mills and they said, no, we're going to 6 months. You guys have to be completely out of this industry. We don't even want to be in the industry. We're going to be just doing, I think maybe it was Procter Kimberling Mills. They have paper mills and they're keeping the people. They're closing down that whole factory, the whole mill portion because they're competing in a commodity. And they said, our value is here. We need to compete in this industry. And so they shut that down. Maybe you close a site. Maybe you open a site. Maybe you get out of an industry. Again, guys, long and short of it, I know I've been rambling here. Just think just not compete at a commodity. Also, really quickly, one last piece of advice. Take it, leave it, whatever you want to do. Right now, do the 80-20 rule. Right now, you have a product that is making you, right, 20% of your products are making you 80% of your margin, probably, right? Profits. I don't care about revenue. I care about profit. Not what's bringing in the most dollars. What's bringing in the most profit? How many dollars do you get to keep? I don't really care about profit, about revenue that much. All right. Find out those things, and maybe you just need to bump the price. Hey, this was $25. Now it needs to be $28. Boom, you instantly are more profitable. Now, in the same vein, 20% of your products that aren't making you money are causing you 80% of your headache. So think right now, you probably instantly knew whatever product or service you had, which was like, man, this really gives me a headache. I hate that product. Well, go look at the demographics around it. Why do you hate it? Can you 10x it? Can you, divide it by 100 or divide it by 10? What do you have to provide? Should you even carry that product? Oh, I have to carry that product because it's a loss leader for these other things. Okay. Maybe you grow it. Maybe you figure it out. Maybe you bump the price. Just look at your pricing. Strategic pricing is not just it's about the health of your company. It's about making you profitable, not more revenue, making you profitable. So many people just miss the mark on that. Anyways, guys, I hope this helped. If you want to help us out, please submit questions, reviews. This wasn't directly a viewer question. Someone did. A listener reached out with a question. We got into this in that discussion. He came out with a different question, but I listen to and reply to every question that I can. All the feedback, we love it. Please leave us a 5-star review anywhere you see this. And remember, we have a sister podcast that teaches normal people about money called FU Money Podcast, Finances Under Control. So we will see you there, guys. And remember to go out there, eliminate the struggle, and fix what bugs you. Woo!
As we wrap up another episode of Small Biz Rescue, remember, your business dream does not have to be a solo journey. We are here to navigate the challenges and celebrate the victories and provide you the tools you need to break free from entrepreneurial enslavement. Guys, if you're listening right now, you might have gotten value from this. And if you have, it'd be a huge thanks to go wherever you're listening to this from, rate and review this, give us a 5-star rating. We listen and read every single comment and are constantly updating the show. If you want to be on the show, shoot us an email at sbr@hughcarnahan.com. Guys, remember to stay tuned, to take action, keep pushing forward. Because with the right steps and a bit of courage, anyone can transform their business and their life. Until next time, keep dreaming, fighting, and let's rescue your business together. Thanks for listening, and remember, next step to your business breakthrough is just an episode away.